Thank you, and thanks for being here. And I hope you all can see my screen now. Welcome to the Inventors Association of Arizona. My name is Lisa Lloyd. I'm the executive director, and we have a wonderful speaker tonight, which I will share more information with you in just a moment. Oops, wrong screen here. There we go. The Inventors Association of Arizona was established in 1995 as a 501c3, which is a nonprofit organization to serve Arizona inventors by educating, networking, supporting, and providing centralized source of information for new inventors across the state. And since COVID, even beyond that, which is very exciting. The Inventors Association of Arizona holds 2 meetings per month. Okay, we have 2. The first is the public meeting, which is what you're attending tonight. If this is your first time, welcome. And it's always the first Wednesday of the month. We have guest speakers to come in and talk about various topics relating to inventing and helping us get smarter and better about the way we approach our inventing processes. It's a great source of education and networking. So welcome to you if you're a guest. Normally these meetings are $20 to the general public and free for members. However, during COVID, we waived the $20 fee. We've just been offering this as a wonderful opportunity for anyone who wants to join us, and we hope that you'll consider joining us this evening because we are a nonprofit and totally driven by our membership revenue. Our second meeting of the month is closed door for members only. This is where, as part of your membership, you will have to sign a non-disclosure and give a photocopy of your driver's license. It is a very safe and secure place that we've created for all of us to come together right now virtually and talk about our ideas, get the feedback that we need. It's much like a think tank. These are always the third Wednesday of the month, and it's not just an opportunity to network and maybe learn, for example, resources locally as well as beyond the Arizona borders, but also, pitch your product, get the feedback that you need. If it's early stage, really, really early, and you've just got this brand new idea and you're thinking about it, it's a great way to kind of do a quick flyby and get the feedback of whether or not maybe it's even worth pursuing or what your next steps might be. As well as discounts to various services and other things that we've been able to set up for you, like with patent agents, patent attorneys, sell sheets, all kinds of things that you're going to need in this process. So this is a great place to share where you're at, what you're working on, going through this process, and getting what you need to know for your next steps. Sorry, these are long days for me. The IAA does not provide services in exchange for money or a percentage of your profits. We do not do it for you. This is, pardon me, simply a place for you to come and be around like-minded individuals and learn the next steps for you. So we do not participate in any way in your invention other than providing you that guidance. I'm so sorry. The requirements for membership are that you must complete our application. You must provide a copy of your driver's license, like I mentioned earlier, sign our non-disclosure form, and pay the annual dues. The fees for membership are $200 for one person per year, which is about the cost of your cable bill, right? 1 month. Group membership is $200 for the first person, $150 for each additional member. So if you have a partner or a spouse or somebody that you're joining with, we've tried to find a way to help save you some money there. Seniors, active duty, military, full-time students, and I will add first responders are always only $150, and renewal, even though you pay $200 when you join, renewal is only $150 instead as well. So there is the mumbo jumbo. These meetings typically go 2 hours, although with doing them online, we don't necessarily have to go the full 2 hours. We'll see how that goes with Allan and his question, what your Q&A session requires and what you desire. Sorry. There we go.
Oh, that's better.
There we go. Can you see that better now?
Yeah.
All right. And tonight, our very special guest, I am excited about. It's been a long time since I've spoken with someone from SCORE. I worked with SCORE when I was first getting started. We're talking about like I said, 1993, actually, because I started the association 2 years after I started my first invention. I don't know if you knew that, Alan.
No, I
And
didn't.
yeah, and then I ended up becoming actually a mentor with the SBDC. So I was very involved in sending a lot of people in both directions. So I'm excited to hear all of the changes. I understand there's been a lot. But for those of you who aren't already familiar with Allan, you didn't see this in the announcements that went out. Allan is the chapter chair and a mentor with SCORE, Greater Phoenix. And since 2007, he's worked with business owners in the US, Mexico, and Germany as a business coach and an outsourced sales manager. Everybody needs more help with sales. He has extensive sales and business management experience, including the startup of an international company, which grew to $40 million in only 9 years, and a turnaround for an international company. From startup to multi-million-dollar companies, he understands the problems and opportunities of growing private companies. And as a coach and consultant, is that
Yeah.
correct? Okay.
I don't. So this is not my PowerPoint, is it?
If you
Share. No, that's you.
Okay, that's just your full screen, but you probably don't want that. So at the bottom, there you
Right.
go. Now we got it.
Is it?
Uh,
Do we have it now? Do you have my
yeah,
PowerPoint?
and I can see your notes and everything if that matters to you. It's totally
Well,
up to you.
I will do it as a slideshow, and we do animations from,
Great. And
you know.
before you dive into that, just to let everybody know, Alan, and for your sake, Alan, I can see your notes and everything when you do PowerPoint that way. I don't
Hmm.
think that's what you want. So the best way to do that is just to go back to the other, and then you don't have to worry about it. If you do presentation without your notes, do you
Okay.
need your notes?
Can you see this?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't need my notes.
Okay.
I really don't have notes, so
Oh, okay. If you want to do the presentation instead, are you using Keynote? No, this is PowerPoint.
yeah.
Okay, great. So
So I can get.
on the bottom right-hand corner, you've got your slider bar, and then you've got what looks like a little computer.
Mm-hmm.
Click on that little computer guy instead. No, not the slider bar, a little bit to the left of that. Keep going to the left of the bar. There you go. Click on that. Let's see. Did it not do anything?
Well, I have two screens. That's the problem. Because it's showing up on my other screen. This is fine. We can go through it.
Okay. Okay, that's great.
Yeah, I can make.
For those of you who are joining us, feel free to drop your questions in the chat at any time throughout Alan's presentation. And then when he's finished, we will open it up and I will manage that for you, Alan. Sound good?
Yeah, and I don't mind if there's a question that's apropos to what I'm talking about. I don't mind stopping the presentation and discussing it as long
Okay,
as
great.
we're on track, because I like to hear feedback. Okay.
Okay, terrific. In that case, I'm just going to ask everyone, since Alan's okay with you going ahead and asking questions as we go, you'll see in the bottom right-hand corner, it says public, and then it says Q&A mode. Please click on the tab that says Q&A mode to add your questions there. That's how I know the difference between people just chatting and people actually asking a question, and it helps me filter through.
And you will ask the questions of me, correct?
And then I will manage that for you. Absolutely. I'll interrupt you, Alan, and let you know that way. Or you just at the end of each section, if you want to ask me if there's any questions, then I'll address them there.
Okay, because I don't see the Q&A box right now. So
I got you covered. And Jamie, I see your question there. I'll answer that because I'm not sure, but I'll get you the answer in a minute. All right.
All right.
Alan,
So
thank you.
So our tagline for SCORE is for the life of your business. We support small businesses from the idea to the exit. Now, you were First of all, I really appreciate being here, and I didn't know this organization existed, but it sounds like an excellent organization for inventors, and I wish they had something similar to startups, which maybe you gave me an idea to start up for something like that. All right. So why Allan? I briefly described my background. I want to say, when I started up a business for this, I started up an enzyme business, a highly competitive field for this German company. And it was torture in some ways, but what a learning experience. Because I always wanted my own business, and what a way to start a business with somebody else's money. So I started that business, and we grew to 40 million, and I was in charge of 4 different divisions, which was monomers and polymers and oitrica with pharmaceuticals and enzymes. And after that, another European company called me up to do basically a turnaround, which was a small flavor manufacturing company. And if anybody's done a turnaround, it is the greatest way in the world to learn cash management because you don't have any money. And my core strength really is sales and marketing. It's not fun doing a turnaround, but you learn a lot. Okay. And I sold that to Conagra. And the reason I push that out is because I've been with small companies and large companies and understand processes and all that. But it's really helped me in my business to also help folks like yourselves either get started, grow your business, or exit your business. Okay. Now, I want to first talk about SCORE, what our mission, values, and goals and services are. So, first of all, SCORE was formed in 1964 as a resource partner for the SBA. Okay. The SBA found that small businesses would come in wanting money, but they didn't have a business plan. So SCORE was there, and it was originally the acronym SCORE really stands for Senior Core of Retired Executives. Today, many of our people are still running businesses, and many of them are retired. But what a vast experiences like you've never heard before. So our mission is to foster vibrant small business communities through mentoring and education. And I would say years ago, we were primarily mentoring. Now it's 50-50 between mentoring and education. Our vision is that every person has the support necessary to thrive as a small business owner. And one of our core values is that our client's success is our success. I have to tell you, as a mentor, I get no greater thrill than when a mentee says, boy, you really helped me out, or they were successful at doing something that we worked on together. It's not about me, it's about them, but that's how I get my kicks. And that's how most of our mentors get kicks, because we don't get paid. Okay? All right. So we help small businesses by providing free business advice and mentoring, like we mentioned, offering low or no cost business training. Now, all of our webinars, now in some areas of the country, they charge for the webinars or workshops. We do not. Okay, the only one we charge for is QuickBooks, which is something like $49 or something like that. So it's low cost, but we do not charge, at least in the Phoenix area, for webinars. Sharing free business templates and resources. I'll get into that more and show you some of that we have available. So just to understand totally what SCORE is, we have over 10,000 volunteers in the United States from all backgrounds of business. We serve over 1,500 communities, and we have over 300 chapters. Just in Arizona, we have 3 chapters: Northern Arizona, Greater Phoenix, and Southern Arizona. Okay. Just last year, we're talking about, we created 25,000 new businesses, 71,000 non-owner jobs, and overall created 96,000 total jobs. This is why the government wants to fund us. Okay. It's because we help create jobs by helping small businesses. Okay, so who are we committed to? And I said SCORE is for the life of your business, okay? So we have early stage entrepreneurs. So if you're really basically have an idea and you don't even know how to start up a business, we can help you, okay? But we work on helping you define those ideas, building a plan and obtaining financing, any of those early stage entrepreneurs. Startup businesses who are seeking to establish their business and manage their finances. Critical points, okay? I mean, a lot of you people I assume are technical people, and I come from also somewhat of a technical background because I graduated in zoology and chemistry. So, but it's critical that these startup businesses. I even was coaching one business owner that's in this area, and he had a $2 million business, but he didn't understand the finances, and that was hurt. Even though he was a profitable business, he didn't understand the finances. And first of all, he bought out his partner, and he found out that the partner's daughter stole $100,000 from the business because he didn't understand the finances, didn't look at the finances. Okay, he was keeping too much inventory because he didn't understand finances. Those type things, you have to understand your finances, and we can help there. Establishes businesses seeking to grow their business and increase their revenue or customers, of course. You know, my background is in sales. We have experts in social media and marketing and anything you want as far as, let's say, helping people grow their business. And transitioning businesses. Very, very important. Okay. Maybe only 30% of the business nationally, small businesses, are sold. The rest of them close their doors. And the reason is they don't have exit planning or they haven't thought about it. We can help, okay? And if we can't help, we know somebody that can, all right? Then this next slide, I'm not going to go over this, but this is just a list of all the industries we serviced and helped. And I can't think of any industry that's not there. So, you know, we can help everybody and anybody through some of our expertise. Next.
Can we stop there just for a second?
Sure.
That last one,
Yep.
with the list, because it is amazing, right? Ideally, who is the perfect client for SCORE that would take advantage of these services? Is it? I know that you talked about all the way through the course of your business, but ideally, is it more for that early stage, do you think, or better for companies that are looking to scale?
Okay, so I would say at least 40 to 50% of the people requiring mentoring are really startups, okay, or true startups. They don't know how to, they don't understand, or they don't know the process of getting an LLC and a domain name and a website and everything else. So, you know, we're dealing with, let's say, 40 to 50% in that area. The rest of these things, and what's strange about that, in my opinion, is our mentors, okay, I'm talking about people. I have one new mentor that he started and he sold over 30 medical centers, okay? Another one has had $500 million businesses that he started up and sold or went public, okay? Another one was an SBA banker. Another, you know, the talent is incredible. I personally, I've only been with him a year, and I was totally flabbergasted by these people.
Wow, that's incredible.
And they're all there to help, and yet sometimes, very honestly, sometimes, so we have to really mentor match, because I don't want this $100 million guy that's bought sold businesses working possibly with somebody that's a complete startup that wants to have a cleaning service, or, you know, not to demean cleaning services, but, you know, the wealth of knowledge this guy has may be too over the too over the head for that type person.
Sure.
So we
That makes sense.
so we take a lot of effort in trying to match mentors with whoever they are.
Okay, great. And there is a question, but before I bring it up, because it's about finances and credit and that sort of thing, are you going to get to that, or may I ask now?
You can ask now.
Okay, so Melinda's asking, is it possible to get started obtaining funding / partners / investors with having bad personal credit?
It's difficult. I won't say it's
You want
impossible.
investors?
Investors, maybe. So it's not just credit. It's, let's say, what is your idea? What is your background? There's a lot of things that go into that. What's your real plan? Um, there's a combination of things when you talk about funding. Yeah. And there's different types of funding that you get, whether it's crowdfunding, whether you start up and they want you to have most investors want you to have some skin in the game too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, that's important to them. And so you have to, let's say it's your house or something, but a banker's not going to lend you money, especially a startup, unless you have 3 years of financing, financial statements behind you. Because all a banker only has to ask one question, and that is, how are you going to pay me back? They don't have to ask any more questions they look at their finances, and then they also look maybe at your executive summary. Have you done this before? What makes you that special person? It's not time to be humble when you're trying to get money.
And you can help with preparing whatever, performance,
Absolutely.
P&Ls, all of that stuff to help get in front of the bank the right way.
Absolutely.
Great.
If
Great.
not me, again, I have people that are CFOs that have done that, chief financial officers. I have guys that were with the SBA, not with the SBA, but and we also, again, have a very close association with the SBA. We are part of the SBA. They are essentially our bosses. They give us the funding. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and understand too, SBA does not loan money, but they sort of give their blessing for you to go to a bank because you're SBA backed. Yeah.
So anyone can come to SCORE at the point in which they think they may need money. It's better to get it to come to SCORE sooner so they can start planning, because it may be 2 years before they can. So don't wait until you're desperate for the money is, I guess, the point I'm trying to make and the question I'm asking at the same time.
Yeah, definitely. You come to SCORE and our people tell you you're not ready to get money in certain fashions. We can try this, we can try that, we can try this. Okay.
Great.
We don't want you to walk in there and ask for money and not have a plan, let's say, or not be able to know the key.
You can help create that plan, yes?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what we're there for. I mean, that's our initial purpose, was to be there for business plans.
Beautiful.
We go way beyond that now, but I always require people, if they don't have a business plan, at least give me an outline. And I could have put it on here, but some people may have already heard of like a business model canvas, which is an outline of a business plan. Okay. It is not a business plan. You can't borrow money on it, but at least it shows the direction and you can build from there. Okay. And you need to build from that, because it's very difficult when you're a startup to make projections about the marketplace and everything else. You can do SWOT analysis, like strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Okay. And you can see where your strengths are versus the competition, so that you can say, okay, this gives us an idea of what direction this company will go in. But it's very hard, and you can cite market statistics of how large the market is and what you're trying to do. But until you're really in the business, it's very hard to write a full-blown business plan. But if you want any investors, even family, you have to have some type of business plan. Okay.
Right on. Thank you.
Enough to attract interest. Does that answer your question, or did I
Answers mine. I hope it answers our audience. But if they have any more questions, they can drop them in the chat and I'll come back to you. Thank you.
Okay. So how can SCORE help you? Okay. That's the next one. Learn about our services and report. Okay. So why SCORE works? First of all, we have free mentoring and co-mentoring. Helps minimize the risk and provides a sounding board for ideas and operations, just like we were just talking. I want to emphasize co-mentoring. This, because I think this is somewhat unique within SCORE. Of those 10,000 mentors, and I'll give you an example. So I got a mentee that wanted to buy a horse farm and wanted to start an equine therapy for handicapped people, okay? Because his son. Okay, good. So maybe 80% of the businesses are the same. But I don't know anything about horses except that my father was a veterinarian and he was a small animal guy. So I really don't know about horses. But it just so happens that a mentor in Virginia has a horse farm that I called on to be a co-mentor with me. And I can do that with anything. Or if, let's say, one of you said, well, I want to know more about patents and trademarks, and I know enough to be dangerous maybe, but I can go into our SCORE database and type in patents and trademarks, and I guarantee you I'll get 4 or 5 people, whether they're in Florida, California, Arizona, wherever, that were lawyers or something that know about patents and trademarks. And we can bring them in as a co-mentor, or about social media, or about any topic whatsoever. And that's such a powerful thing about our free mentoring, which I don't think many people have, because I know a lot about business, but I'm the first one to say I don't know everything. Okay. Free workshops. There's a lot of workshops in the area. Okay. And you can take them on all sorts of topics, and we'll get into that and more. But I think it's great that it's available online. You can go on our website and pick out a webinar that you would like to see. And you can also look at on regular, and we'll show you that. Free or online resources. So if you wanted to get an, let's say, the SBA or the SCORE business plan workbook or something.
Okay, but first you'll have to unlock your device.
Oh, my phone is talking to me. Hey, be quiet, will you? Anyway,
Siri.
so if you wanted a business plan, if you wanted a template on cash flow, if you wanted a template, the finance and all these other things, we have them available to you, free. Okay. All right. So the benefits of free mentoring. Who are our mentors? So I mentioned before, and I'll mention again, these people are retired, and many are retired executives. Many of them haven't retired and are or just retired, or running their own businesses, but they come from all walks of business that you can imagine. Okay, and we mentioned this co-mentoring. Okay, I think an important aspect of our free mentoring is we don't have an agenda. And what do I mean by that? Lawyers, you need a lawyer, okay, if you're going to start a business or have a business. You need a CPA, okay? But we give this for free, so we don't have an agenda. We're not being paid. So we can say to you, listen, we can be perfectly honest with you without having the fear that you're going to go someplace else. How can I express this? I was a business coach before I went into SCORE. And I was coaching business owners, let's say $1 million plus businesses. At the same time, I wanted to bring other people in that knew more about, let's say, finance than I did. I know finance, but not like they knew finance. But then I had the fear that these guys would, these people, whatever, would take my customer away. I don't have that as a mentor score. And that is really, let's say, it's a good feeling to not have that agenda. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can avoid timely and costly mistakes by learning from someone who's been there, done that. Score is for the life of your business. There is no time limit or obligation. A lot of these other mentoring services or something, they say you have 6 months or 6 weeks or a specific training. If you called me, if I worked with you today and you want to work in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, that's fine. If you want to say, okay, I don't need you anymore, and you go off and then 3 months later you need my help, we're here. We're here for the life of your business. Okay. Another thing that is important is for business owners that I have felt and I've discussed with many of them is trying to keep you on track and accountable. A lot of business owners have a lot of ideas, and let's say at the end of a mentor session, and they don't know how to prioritize. So what I like to do at the end of a mentor session, can we agree on that the next time we meet, you'll have your business model canvas done or this done, okay? And it keeps you on track and prioritizing. This is the next step, because that is a big, I know when I started the enzyme business, I was all over the board. I was running every place. It was like blitzkrieg, just run, do, and not saying, okay, let's step back and take it step by step by step. And how are we going to make this most effective? Okay. And a mentor can help you with that. And I want to stress too, if SCORE is not your mentor, and let's say you mentioned SBDC, to find people, okay, find someone, okay, that can help you with those type of things. All right, our basis of mentoring is we have a SLATE methodology. It says stop and suspend judgment, listen and learn, assess and analyze, test ideas and teach with tools, and expectation setting. What's important about this is our job is not to destroy your dream, okay? Our job is to try and help you figure out whether this dream is correct or not, and ask enough questions and listen and make sure that you're meeting where you want to go and what you want to do. What I like to start people out with too is let me ask you what your personal vision is. Where do you plan to be in the next 5 to 10 years? Is this going to help you get there? Okay, or not? Okay, and what do we do to help you get where you want to go with this business? All right, because it's not just about, it's just not, when people talk about a business vision, that business vision has to be congruent with your personal vision, or otherwise it doesn't work. Okay, I had a situation, for instance, that there were two partners, and one's vision of the business and his personal life was, I just want enough to make for my family. Okay, and I just want that. The other one was envisioning a national, his personal vision was having a national company, multi-million, selling it for, and living on a yacht. Well, these two guys can't work together, okay, because their visions are different. So you really have to understand what your personal vision is, where you want to go, what you want to do, okay, in 5 to 10 years, and does this vision. And my job is to ask questions and listen, assess and analyze, okay, and test these ideas. And then expectation setting, we talked a little bit about. I'm going to ask you, okay, let's do your homework here, and let's meet in 2 weeks and decide whether we're going down the right path. Okay? Are there more questions?
I have some floating around in my head, but I feel like you've got a good flow going, so I'm not going to interrupt. There aren't any more coming in from the audience just yet.
Okay, great. So you have a sort of a business owner's forum like I'm talking about here. And I don't know how many of your people are participating in it, in your format, but I think it's terrific that you have it, because I ran a peer advisory board for 10 years. All right. And there's nothing like business owners helping other business owners with problems, opportunities, etc. And one person may be great in sales, and another person may be great in operations, and another person may be great in finance or good in finance. But it's sort of like having a mini board of directors. So I'm not trying to take away from your business. I think that it's great that you have it, and I suggest if to join it for your Inventors Society, and you could also join ours too if you would like. Okay, and again, it's free, but I think it's a tremendous format. And again, too, if let's say there's a particular problem that one of the people in this group has that, let's say, can't necessarily be resolved in that group, again, we can go back to these subject matter experts within SCORE to do it. Or let's say we can bring into the group where we all would like to understand more about digital marketing or social media, or we can bring in a mentor that is a specialist on that. You know, like I have one guy that worked for Facebook. Okay, so we could bring him in for in that type form to discuss, you know, how to utilize Facebook and the other social media formats. So
That's great.
okay. Okay, so free workshops and events. So we partner with a lot of chambers, libraries, and others to present workshops. I am so pleased to be here because truthfully I never heard of your organization, and I think it's terrific. Okay, when you register for a webinar, you get a free recorded a free recording of it, so that you can listen to it again. Or if you registered for it and you didn't have an opportunity to attend at that particular time, you get a recorded version. Okay, so, and we're trying to get. We not only have SCORE volunteers giving these, we go outside the box. You know, like we may ask for somebody on cybersecurity. I'll give you some examples. So here's some free webinars and workshops that happened this week. Planning a revenue generating sales strategy. Okay, how a small business owner can dominate his or her market position. The third one is the top 10 challenges of leaders today. And you can do it either locally from the Greater Phoenix SCORE web e-newsletter or our website, or you can do it national. Okay, they have different ones all over, and many of them actually are on the score.org website that you can access at any time, and you don't have to register for. But other particular ones, you can register and they're holding it in New York or something. So tremendous resources. This is just a list of the webinars and workshops we're giving just throughout September, and you can see there's about 10 or 12 of them right there. All right. So how to start a successful new business, tapping into money-making opportunities, QuickBooks, optimize your website, okay, what your nonprofit needs in order to rise to the next level, et cetera, et cetera. And these are all the workshops we're giving. I mentioned a resource library. So I think I already mentioned this, but you could see this on our website, and it says templates, business planning and financial statements, or financial projections template, or the startup roadmap for guide to successful. So we have all these, and it's all free. Okay, so about the Greater Phoenix chapter, and these are statistics from 2021. All right. So first of all, our website is greaterphoenix.score.org. Okay, we have 102 volunteers locally. New businesses started last year, 262 we helped start, which we, by our tracking, have created 1,252 jobs. Our most popular workshops are business planning, digital marketing and social media, funding and grants, and this business owner's form. Any questions?
Can you share Slate again?
Sure.
Maybe, Doug, if it helps, you could do like a screen capture too. You don't mind if we do screenshots, right?
No,
Awesome. Thank you.
I'll send you the PowerPoint.
Terrific. Thank you. And I will make this recording available to anyone who wants it as well.
Okay.
I'll ask for Laura's help to put it up on our website.
Okay, good. Okay, where was I?
Next one.
Okay, about our chapter. Okay, so that's it. So I want to go a little bit into this. Was not some things that we think about when you come to us and you are just starting out. And we ask you, are you an entrepreneur? And again, we want to ask you enough. We're listening to you. We're in no way do we want to destroy your dreams, but we want to help you make the right decision, because some people are not meant to be entrepreneurs, being perfectly honest. Okay. So we say, are you a self-starter? Are you organized? Are you decisive? Are you persistent? And do you have family support? Again, coming back to your personal vision, if your significant other is not with you and you want to start a business, at least initially, I find that businesses, the first couple of years, it's almost 24/7 to run a business. Okay. Until you get things in place. It's hard to have a balance a life balance when you're starting up. All right. It's not forever. And if you set the business right, okay, you will have a life balance. But you gotta have people behind you that really support what you're doing. Key successful: cash, and then I could write cash, and then I could write cash. It's important to have it. Okay. When somebody tells me, well, I don't have enough money for an LLC, which is, if you do it right, it only cost you $85 or something, in Arizona at least, to form an LLC. You say, how is this going to work? How are they ever going to, if you don't have cash to start, it's very good. You have to have a viable plan, okay, which we were talking about. Time management is critical. I find that there are so many distractions today that it's very, very difficult to manage your time, all right? But you have to figure out how to manage your time. And you have to have a real clear focus of what you're doing and when you're going to do it. And I tell people, make an appointment with yourself to get things done, which means I'll have no distractions, which is almost impossible sometimes today, between emails, texts, social media, Facebook, voicemail. It's just, but you have to be willingness to ask. As inventors, I am sure you have the natural thing of asking questions. Don't ever let it fail you. Don't fail to ask. And even asking people that could be competitors. I mean, I have the instance of one guy who wanted to start a pizza place in Mesa. And I said, why don't you go to a pizza place in Glendale or something and ask them totally about their business and be honest with them and just tell them, I'm trying to start a pizza business. It's way in Mesa. I'm not going to be a competitor. Tell me about your business. Tell me what costs. Tell me the problem. Tell me the opportunities. Okay. Tell me how did you get into that business? Ask questions endlessly. Okay. Experience and education. It always is amazing. It really is amazing sometimes. It's people say, well, I'm going to reinvent myself. I really don't understand what that means. My suggestion is always use your past experience in your reinvention process. So I'll give you an example. This one lady came to me and said, I want to sell essential oils. I said, that's interesting. What do you do now? Property management. Well, do you like property management? Yeah. Well, and in the conversation, our significant other was a maintenance man. So why don't you go into property management and up it? You have a better chance of success on that because you know something about it. You know, don't go 180 degrees the other way. Okay. Communication, of course, and work ethic we discussed. All right. Um, so we said that's what we say as far as an entrepreneur, a startup entrepreneur really needs to think about: are they able to be an entrepreneur? Okay, will they really like it? Because it's tough, and it's lonely, and it's not easy. Um, so I put this together very quickly before this. I said, okay, what are the 10 steps when I talk about growing your business? Because I've gone through this. Okay, I've done this, and I've made a lot of mistakes along the way. So first, you should have a business plan or some type of, even if it's on a napkin. Well, I hopefully not on a napkin, but something says, these are my goals. These are the actions, and I'm going to reach this goal by these are the different tactics that I can take. Like for instance, I want to be at $150,000 in sales. Okay, and how are you going to do that? All right. What options do you do to get there? Right? You have to think about that, but it can be reviewed and changed and improved upon. And I say a business plan, it's a, but it's a process. Okay. But all these plans change. They never, ever are the same of what you originally wrote down. But you have no direction if you don't write it down. Okay. Make market research a way of life. The trends, the competition. Always be reading about what's going on. Understand the competition. Understand what they're developing. You know, make sure that you know those type things. Don't get into a market. For instance, I had one guy that says, "Well, I made a product similar to Outlook." I said, "Great. Now, how are you going to sell it?" "Well, I can be much cheaper." That's not why somebody will buy. Okay. And are you really going to compete against Microsoft? How can you do that? So you have to think, what problem, and can I buy it, and can I get into the market, and what's your competition? All right. I had a window and door guy that said to me, I asked him, "So who's your competition?" And he has 1,000 square foot building. Okay. And he's selling high end doors in Scottsdale for $1,000. And he says, "My competition is Home Depot." I said, "No, it's not. You are not going to compete with Home Depot. Forget about it. You have to separate yourself. You have to make a niche. And that only comes by researching your competitors and making sure that you have differentiated yourself. And that comes with market research. Have a sales process. Get a lead, engage a lead, and nurture a lead. I find that some people get a lead, they may talk to them, not talk to them, and then they drop it. The majority of sales are made by contacting the customer over 8 times. It takes you 8 times on average of contact with that customer to make a sale. That's normal. But you have to do it, and you can't think of yourself as a pest. Okay? You do it by adding value to them, and then consequently, they will buy your product. Okay? I mentioned understand and use your financial statements. Critical. Just critical. It's like a report card. Okay? Don't be caught by them. Increase customer retention. New products and services to present to customers is easier than finding a new customer. I hear all these people want to hire a new salesperson, for instance, because to increase their sales. And I said, well, how much can your present customers buy more? Because it's at least 6 to 10 times easier to sell a product into a present customer than it is to go out and to get a new customer. 6 to 10 times. And I've seen this time and time again. Okay. That you sell one product to them or one service to them, but you don't sell other services in your portfolio. And that's a way of growing it. Prioritize customer service. I took one AMA course in New Jersey on strategic marketing and sales. It was a 5-day course. The guy wrote a book, and at the end of it, five-day course, 8 hours a day, and at the end of it, he says, "I'll only give you one piece of advice: service, service, and more service, because that will keep you customers." Okay. You will always, if you can figure out how to keep improving your service, you will have customers. Okay. And the other things like email campaigns. A lot of people have gone to, let's say, Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, all those other things. And they don't really have a process also for understanding how to use them lots of time. They just feel like they should be on it because that's what they say to do. For me, the absolute best thing is email campaigns, because when you have e-newsletters, you can see who's reading it and who's not reading it. You can develop drip campaigns. You can talk directly to a possible customer through them. Okay. So don't forget the email campaigns. And I'm not saying social media isn't important. It is important, but you really have to know what you're doing. Okay. Or otherwise you can spend a lot of time doing it. Networking partners like you discussed earlier. I think that's terrific. Okay. I mean, it's, but it's also finding specific networking partners. I attended something called referral networking years ago, and she said you're looking for 5 people, let's say 5 people maximum, where you can help them and they can help you. Okay. And they have to have the same values and everything else. You can't just network, get cards, have a coffee, because the networking partners have to be nurtured, because you're asking them in some cases to sell you. Okay. And they'll only sell you if it's a benefit to them. Your best thing is getting referrals from present customers. And that's a whole nother story. Okay. Which I didn't write down here, but I think it's important that if you do have a customer, is to ask them for referrals. Okay. I mean, if you ever been involved with somebody like a financial planner or insurance guy, at the end, they'll always ask for referrals. Okay. And you have to do that too. Okay. That's the best. And one of the problems also too with entrepreneurs starting out, or 2 or 3 person shop, they get a lot of work all of a sudden, and then that stops, and then they got to look for a new customer or something. But wouldn't it be easier if you said, "Look, I really appreciate all the work you gave me and everything, and this has been terrific. Could you possibly suggest me to somebody else or give me a referral?" That's something you have to do. You have to be oriented like that. And for a lot of people, that's difficult. Okay. Another thing is, in talking about numbers, is measure what works and what doesn't work. Okay. So you may be in 2 or 3 different markets, but you don't, in one market you like to be in, but it doesn't work. What do I mean by that? So I had one business owner. He was trying to sell an app to medical schools. And I said, "Well, that's great. There's only 180 medical schools, and they have limited budget, even though they're charged an arm and a leg to be a medical school." I said, "How about, did you think about the, let's say, people that do knee replacements or have medical devices and everything?" "Well, I don't know that market." "Okay, understandable. But there's over 2,000 of them. What's your chances of success?" And they have an unlimited budget. Okay. So you have to think about that as far as who you're targeting. Okay. And saying also measure what works and what doesn't work. Okay. Measure the profit. It's not just about revenue. You don't take revenue to the bank. You take profit to the bank. So you may have a high turning product. Like, for instance, I can think of a dozen, Google didn't make money for 6 years. Okay. Until they figured out how to make it work that made money. Boston Market, if you've heard of them, they had over 400 stores. They didn't make any, they generated a lot of revenue, no profit. Uber has yet to generate a profit. Okay. You cannot be in that position, and you cannot take revenue to the bank unless you get some type of investors that are willing to say, well, they'll make money in the future. So if you're lucky to be in that position, fine. But the majority of us are not in that position. Okay? Here's some steps on how to exit your business. Exiting your business takes strategic planning, goals, and study the various exit strategies and what's best for you. You can do an acquisition. You can do selling to employees. You can do succession planning. Okay? But all that takes time. And I would say, at minimum, to exit your business, this strategic planning probably takes 2 years. Okay? 2 years. And you don't want to be one of those businesses that just closed your doors. You spent all this time developing a business and you invested in money maybe that you could have earned more money that you could have earned working in a job. And that was your investment in this business. Make sure that you have an exit plan to get out of it. Okay? And go through certain steps, like have your business evaluated by an evaluator. How much? Make sure you are not the rainmaker, because people don't want to buy. If I'm buying a business and you're the rainmaker and you're the chief sales guy and there's nobody there that can do that, I'm not buying a business. I'm buying a job. Okay. Also, seek the advice of lawyers, CPAs, business brokers, and your SCORE mentor. Again, we will be there when you want to exit your business. Right. Do we have any more questions?
Yes, but it's not on topic. Is that okay?
Sure.
You know what? You're towards the end here. Why don't you go ahead and wrap up, and then I'm going to switch us from webinar mode to meeting mode, and then they can come on stage and ask you themselves.
Great. Okay, so I'm going to send this to Lisa and everything, but find your mentor to start or grow your business at greaterphoenix.score.org. Okay? Some of you may want to be a volunteer. Okay? I welcome new volunteers, especially ones that have specialty fields like yourselves. Love to have you. Okay? So you can also do that by going to our website. And if you want to talk to me further, there's my information and my phone number, and I'll be glad to talk to any one of you. So with that, I'm done.
Awesome. Okay, at the bottom center of your screen there, it says stop sharing. If you want to hit that, I'm going to take us out of webinar and put us into meeting mode so that everybody can join us here on stage. And I will switch the layout here. I thought it was everyone was supposed to come on stage here. Oh, you can grab if you want to stretch the this right window that you have. There's little arrows in the center, and you can stretch that over. I thought we would all come back up on stage. Maybe I selected the wrong one. Still getting familiar with this. One more second here.
Cheryl looks upside down.
Yeah, we've been having issues with her technology.
I can't fix that. There's no way I can fix it that I know how.
You don't want to stand on your head or anything.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me talking?
Yeah, sure can. Absolutely.
Yeah, I've tried everything. I've tried doing it in different browsers, and my laptop's very old. That has something to do with it. I mean, I don't know any setting that I can fix that myself.
Okay.
Well, I'm glad you're here. Yeah, absolutely. So like I said, you can adjust your screen. So there's arrows. You can click and drag and make things bigger or smaller. In fact, you know what I'll do? I'll even just share my screen to show you what I did, folks, in case you want to do it like I did, because I like it like this.
Yeah, I'd like to make it bigger too.
Okay, so I'm going to do my entire screen. So see what I did? This arrow, this guy right here, you can do this.
Uh-huh.
And then this guy right here, you see where my mouse is? You can do this and make all of this bigger. Isn't that cool? So you can adjust it however you want. Make it whatever you'd like it to be. All right, okay. So let's stop sharing and let's jump into our question here. I think it was from it smaller. I can't see well enough. Maura, yes, if you want to ask or jump on, you can turn on your microphone if you'd like to ask your question or have a conversation with Allan here. But Maura asks, I have a prototype and I want to start my own business. Could you help me from the ground up, I think, form a business plan to whatever, from a business plan, to whatever I need to start the business? I have no clue. So it's different with product developers, right, Allan, when we're doing the validation of a product versus a business. And bringing a product to market through licensing is a very different business model than, say, for example, becoming an entrepreneur that really, like I did with TC Pats, where you're making it, selling it, and scaling it, and all of that stuff.
Okay, so from my standpoint, not I necessarily, but somebody within our chapter, I'm sure, can help you with certain points of it. My expertise personally is really sales and marketing. I know how to get things started. Okay, that's my core strength. I mean, the other parts about it, I know about processes and other things, but and I'm relying on certain people in my organization to help out, like I mentioned to you, co-mentor or whatever. So, if you apply to get a mentor, there is an intake form in there, and you can specify what you feel like you need, and then we can match a mentor to you. Okay?
Great. Oh, Maura joined us. Great.
Trying to.
Question? Sure.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, because I can't see myself on here, but you could hear me. Yeah, my question is, because I do have a prototype, but I do want to start my own business. So I don't even know how to start that. And my question was, would Allan be a good person to help me, I guess, do the business plan of it? Just to start, would I start there? I mean,
well, let's put it this way. The first thing is to start a bit. Do you have an LLC, a domain name, EIN number, any of those things?
No, nothing.
So we basically have a startup checklist that you have to go through. So it's like, here's your domain name. Okay, and we say start with your domain name because let's say you want to name your business. What's your first name?
Maura.
Laura. Okay. Laura's Business. Okay. So if you get a domain name, it's called laurasbusiness.com.
Maura.
Maura with an M.
Okay.
But Allan, would you say that the best first step would be to just book a call and come in and talk to somebody so that they can look at everything and see what the next steps would be?
Yes.
Okay.
And again, if it's only one time, 10 times, 100 times, we're there for you. Okay. Once you sign up to get a mentor. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So, and Maura, my advice to anyone who's first getting started is really going to be all about validation and just making sure there really is a solid business opportunity there for you before you invest a bunch of time and money in it. So checking the competitive landscape research, doing the consumer research to see if it's a big enough problem for enough people that it's worth solving. And then looking at the competitive landscape and seeing who else is solving it and are they doing a good enough job or how can you do it better? And then, of course, the patent research. And once you've done those three and you have a really good feel for the opportunity and you're prepared to start investing more time and money, I think that's where a score can be an incredible resource for you in helping then, okay, I know I want to move forward. Tell me what to do to move forward, kind of thing.
Well, and Lisa's point is well taken. And I suggest also to go on the score.org website, look up business model canvas because it's more of an outline. And the first part is, okay, what problem is I'm solving? What value am I adding? What's the proposition? Second part is who's my target market? Okay, who am I going after? And I don't want to hear I'm going after everybody. Because even McDonald's has target markets. They advertise to seniors, they advertise to kids, okay? They advertise to a certain economic class. So there's target markets. Then there's channels. How do I get there? Okay? In other words, if you're trying to get to me and I'm 73 years old and you're using Pinterest or something like that, or you're using Instagram, forget about it. You're better off with a newspaper. You're better off going to a senior. So you have to understand the channels that you have to go through. And it's not just social media. People think social media is a panacea. It's not. Okay. I've told people, for instance, to go to test out their product at, one was clothing, So anyway, I can go off too much. So.
Thank you.
Thanks for asking. Good question. Doug, you want to jump in? I see you have a question. I'll go ahead and ask that.
Hello?
Maybe you can message. How many business plans would I need? Example, if I have a flotation product that is in the marketplace and people love it, and I have other products that are in patent pending stage, do I need a business plan for each product?
That's hard to say. It's yes and no. Again, a lot of it's depending upon who your target market is. Can you bundle those products? Okay. Are they going to the same target market? Where are they headed towards? Because you may need a different plan for each target market. Does that make sense? So until I know a lot more details, it's very hard to say whether you need a separate business plan. Don't let business plans scare you, by the way, because for me, when you at least write an outline of a plan, writing brings clarity. All of a sudden, the ideas blossom, the thoughts take a new life because you're writing. At least with me and with a lot of the people I talk to. Okay? And I've written a lot of business plans. So.
Doug, I see you on stage. Did you have a follow-up? You're unmuted, but I can't hear you for some reason. I would just say also, and if you don't mind me writing your coattails there, Allan.
No.
With regard to venturing your inventions as opposed to licensing, one business plan per business is necessary if they're separate businesses. If, like Allan is saying, if they are additional products inside the business that you're scaling the business with, then you're going to see whatever that line, you're building out a line of product as opposed to having a single product. That's one business plan. But if you have a lot of different products and you're basically going to use the same formula that you used for the one, and they're different, say you're going to just keep inventing and selling products on Etsy, for example, that might still be the same business model because even though they're different products, it's still the same business model. But a BMC might be helpful, and you still want to do all the business model canvas. That's what Allan was talking about earlier. For each product, just to help you walk through the competitive landscape, and is Etsy really still the right channel for you? Are there any other better ways that might be easier, less expensive, faster, whatever, for you to get to market, all that stuff? And I think talking with someone at SCORE will help you answer that question.
Yep. Correct.
All right. Great questions. Any other questions for Allan this evening? We might finish up early. Okay.
Well, I really appreciate you having me. Okay.
I appreciate you coming. Thank you, Allan.
This is fun.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
So last chance. Oh, it looks like some more questions are coming in here. JC, my new Catherine, I think you are on stage if you're wondering. You just your audio is on, it's not your visual, not your camera. Okay, so JC is asking, my new company has grossed $400,000 so far this year, but isn't profitable. I feel your pain. Until we have 1,200 units in the market. We need about $1.3 million for those units plus operating cash. Is the SBA best?
Let's put it this way. Again, if you're going to go to the SBA, You're going to have to show them. I would go to the SBA or come to SCORE first. Let's make a plan so that you can present it to the SBA. Okay? Let's get an idea of how to package it, because we don't know. The question is, why are you not profitable? Is it because you bought 1,200 pieces and overextended yourself that way? Or is it because this product itself is not profitable because you don't have enough margin in it? Is it because you have too much personnel involved? You have to analyze why isn't it profitable? Are you spending too much on marketing? Okay. Is there another way to market it so it's not so expensive? It's a whole varied thing, but you have to do that before you go to somebody like a bank or an SBA asking for money. Okay. You really have to analyze it and say, this is what I need to correct or change, but I need some help. Okay. And they don't want to fund your losses. They want to fund your growth. Okay. They don't want to pay necessarily for a new employee. They want to pay for how you're going to grow your business and make more money.
And add more employees.
Right.
Yeah, that economic impact thing. So so SCORE, if I'm hearing you right, Allan, is the best first step for entrepreneurs to learn, set the stage, build out the framework, whether that's a BMC or a business plan, figuring out finances, setting all of that stuff up, and then you can also guide that entrepreneur in the right direction for the best method of funding, if they want, whether it's Kickstarter, crowdfunding kind of thing, or SBA, or traditional venture capital.
We're a discussion point because we can't fund you, okay? But we also have partners. Let's say Prestamos gives microloans of $5,000 or $10,000. I don't know if you know Prestamos, okay? Or we have contacts with microloans. We have contacts with some banks. And of course, we have contact with the SBA. So we have these resources to help you out, and we can talk to them or whatever.
Great. Yeah. So JC, I hope that answers your question. I see that you mentioned you also have your full performance and executive summaries and all that stuff. That's great. So I would say put all that together and give SCORE a call.
Get a mentor that we can review your business plan. Okay. If you have all that together, that's terrific. All right. But let's, so like Jerry Van Dyke, who was a banker in SBA loans, and another guy, a younger guy that's in the chapter. That's all they did was loan money from banks. Okay. So they can tell you they can be sitting on the other side and say, no, that's not going to work. Yeah. Right?
Great.
And you have to change this or you have to change that. And then you go to the SBA.
Right.
Right? Or a bank.
That's awesome. And you can help with, say, for example, as you start to scale and you need to hire employees, with identifying what those best practices are going to be, creating the job description, I assume, help with kind of HR stuff as well, guiding us.
We definitely can. We can help with that stuff. I think, and again, like for instance, I just got a new guy that had a HR consulting company for 20 years, and now he's a SCORE volunteer. So he's open to mentoring. We just gave a webinar on hiring your first employee. Okay. So, we know the essence of it. And at least if it gives you a starting point or something to think about, that's important. Because hiring an employee, I know, let's say when this company that I started, but again, they had a lot of money. We started at zero and went to 40 million. We made a lot of hiring mistakes, okay? Because we thought we needed let's say for customer service, the thought was like a traditional customer service person. But what we really needed, because the product was coming from Germany, is somebody that understood import, export, and customer service. Or we didn't separate those jobs, and we didn't want to hire two people because that's costly. So it really takes a lot of thought process on who you want to hire and why you want to hire them. Okay. I think another mistake that entrepreneurs make is they want to hire themselves, and that doesn't work. Okay. You have to develop certain processes for this new employee and what particular jobs they're going to handle. Right? If anybody's ever read the E-Myth, I hope I'm not babbling on. Reading the E-Myth, he talks about, and it's a very famous book for entrepreneurs. So E-Myth, Entrepreneurial Myth. He talks about this lady that loved making pies. She loved making pies, so she started her own business selling pies. And soon enough, she's making 100 pies a day. And she doesn't like making pies anymore. So she gets an assistant. She teaches them everything about making pies. Okay? And she opens a store right across the street making pies. So she didn't teach him a part of the business. She taught him the whole business, you know.
And basically put him in the business. Okay, so Catherine, I think we can hear you. Can you say something?
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, great. Yeah, I started with 4 decades ago, and I invented an instant medical device. I was sent to the University of Michigan. They loved it. They set me up with manufacturing, which was so bogus, I screamed. And I secured a patent in 2016. Ever since COVID, I had a mentor at 4. It just all fell apart.
Okay. And what's the question?
So the question is, I need to get going again with this. I want to do something to get through the FDA because that appears to be a requirement, but no one seems to know how to do that.
Okay. Again, ask for Score Mentor. Tell them specifically what you need and want in the intake form, and we can fix you up with one. If you have any problems whatsoever, or you're not satisfied, you have my name and number, because I'm the guy in charge now.
Okay, so go through SCORE again.
Go to the SCORE website, ask for a mentor, and then on the intake form, they're going to ask you what your situation is, okay? And then they match you with a mentor.
Yeah, because they have a long list of all of different experts, so they're going to find someone who has the expertise in the FDA process and set you up.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
I will do that. Thank you very much.
Great. Thanks.
Very good.
Aaron, I'm so sorry. Your question was actually before that. You asked about, Alan, she's just asking if the company you were talking about earlier was a flavoring company. Is that what you said? That you used to work with, a flavoring company?
Yeah, I was president of a flavor company out of Germany. Okay. But they had manufacturing in New Jersey. And it was a turnaround situation because, it was a nightmare.
Big turnover.
But it was interesting. It was very interesting because also too, Germany has ISO 9000 rules. Does anybody know what ISO 9000 is? Yeah. And understanding processes and making sure that your processes and no redundancies, again, cash management we learned. And then also too, I sold it to Conagra, which is one of the second largest food company in the United States. Like at the time, they were like 26 billion. So I'm sure a lot more. So, there was a lot of good experiences, but painful.
If someone wants to learn more about licensing as opposed to venturing, do you have that type of expertise?
I'm sure we can find somebody. Okay. All right. And again, we're not limited to the 100 or so volunteers in in Greater Phoenix.
Right.
We can go across the country.
That's great. That's
right.
fabulous.
We
Yeah.
may have an initial mentor that has a, that intakes and asks enough questions. Because what also frequently happens, somebody says, well, I need help with this, that, and the other. And then when you really ask them enough questions, no, they need something completely different. Okay.
Yeah.
So there may be a little time lag of going over with the mentor, but then we can always try and find somebody about licenses and everything else. And if you want to, also too, if you have I can look it up right away, okay, by going onto our CRM and just put in licensing information and see who's out there, whether they're here or in Florida or New York or California or something, who's out there that may fit.
That's terrific.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions, folks? Yeah, can you mention that your email address again?
It's Allan, Allan .Himmelstein, HIM as in Mary, M as in Mary, 2 M's, ELSTEIN @scorevolunteer.org.